If you're working with protected binary resources, storage resources, the valet key pattern is something that you absolutely want to consider. So I'm going to show you the simplest example I can of how you might be able to implement the valet key pattern.
I'm going to show you a really simplified version of implementing the valet key pattern. And later in the course, I'll actually revisit this and do it in actually a more programmatic way and in something that would be a little more applicable. But we haven't really hit all of the different components that I want to hit to show you that. So we'll just go real basic. The idea right now is that I've got a storage account, and in the storage account, I've got a blob container, images, and images has a blob, Microsoft PNG, and if I were to try to view this anonymously, it should give me an error. And there we go. I get an error telling me that it doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist because I don't have anonymous access to that container. So what I want to do is grant access, and really the best way to do that is through a shared access signature. So I'm going to go over here. Well, actually, before I do anything, since I've already copied that, I'll pull this up here. Got a very simple little action result here. So I've got this valet key method in a ASP.NET MVC application, and I'm going to use a valet key pattern here. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is define the URL, and since I've already copied it, let's put that in there. So that's the URL of the actual item. Now I need to get the shared access signature. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to manually generate a shared access signature. And to do that, from within the storage account, I can go to shared access signature, and I have a number of different types or options that I can use with this signature. And for example, the only permission that I want this shared access signature to have is read. And this is going to be the key that's going to allow me to read this. All right. And if I go down here, I can see that it's got a start and an end date and a start and an end time. And notice that's specifically 9:07. Let's set that to 11:07 just for the fun of it. All right, and I'm going to generate the key. Now, again, the fact that I'm doing this manually, so here are my different keys that I've got. And you can see actually it's applied to different things. I'm just going to take the SAS token itself and copy that. And I'm going to put the SAS token in here. All right, and so that's the token that I'm generating. Again, we'll look at this in more depth. And that's all one line. Then I'm simply going to combine it. Add the SAS into the URL. And now I've got in my, just extremely simple, I'm looking for, in the view that's associated with this action for the controller, I've got this viewbag.image URL that I'm using. So I'm going to take that and simply set that equal to URL. All right. Not extremely exciting, but what does that do if I start this guy? I'm going to pause this while it loads up. As you can see, it's loading that page. And here is the result. You can see the valet key that is simply the combination of the URL itself plus the SAS, right? And so that's kind of what I'm doing in the internal application. And then this is actually just what the image looks like, which I got from Bing search of free license Microsoft images, so it should be okay. Now, by the way, if I take that combined token, server failed to authenticate the request. I must have, oh, yeah, I missed, I think, one equal sign. Oh, well, not going to worry about that too much. It actually missed quite a bit. So in any case, you can take this and you can see that you can retrieve an image using that. And that is the basic idea of the valet key, is that you can't have direct access to a resource. In this case, the resource is an image, and instead a temporary key is generated and it's provided so that you can access that image or that resource really from within storage is typically what that works for.
Keep in mind, we haven't really talked that much about shared access signatures. We'll actually go into those in more depth later on. So don't worry about the details of the shared access signature itself, but understand the concept of being able to generate that through an application and then being able to use that, in an interface, in the user interface, to retrieve objects in a secure manner from Azure.